All right, let's jump right in. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're looking at this incredibly dense, super fascinating excerpt from ancient literature, specifically a very intense little fragment called The Second Parable of the Heavenly Wagons. You know, ancient apocalyptic and visionary texts are totally famous for their wild imagery, right? But this specific passage does something really unique. It builds this massive sense of scale using sight, sound, and sheer physical force. And our main objective today is to understand exactly how the text pulls that off. We're going to zero in on one overarching question. Why did the Holy Ones actually take notice? So we're starting right out of the gate with essential mystery. I want you to imagine the sheer magnitude of an event you'd need to actually interrupt the heavenly realms. In the worldview of these ancient authors, heaven is a place of supreme, perfect order. It exists far above the mundane, noisy chaos of our earthly realm. The holy ones up there, they're totally focused on the divine. For them to suddenly stop what they're doing and look down at something happening on our level, well, it can't just be some minor disturbance. It's got to be something that literally shakes the foundations of reality. So, as we go through this, keep asking yourself, what kind of earthly catalyst possesses that kind of rule-breaking power? And that brings us to the exact phrase that anchors our entire investigation today. The holy ones from heaven noticed it. It is such a brilliant literary device. The author doesn't just describe an event. They validate how huge the event is by telling us exactly who is watching. It's like if you want your audience to understand that something is a really big deal, you don't just describe the thing itself. You describe the reaction of the most important spectators imaginable. The very fact that the Holy Ones noticed is our absolute proof that what we are about to decode is of ultimate cosmic significance. Section 1. Wagons upon the wind, the earthly catalyst. We know heaven is watching, but what exactly are they looking at? The text describes a sudden, striking visual consisting of three elements: a host of wagons, men riding upon them, and, here's the kicker, they are coming upon the wind. Now, on the surface, wagons and men sound entirely ordinary, right? But it's that third detail that completely flips this from mundane to supernatural. They are coming upon the wind. We aren't talking about a dusty caravan slowly rolling down a dirt road. No, this is a massive airborne fleet. A host implies an army, a multitude. So we have this incredibly vivid, honestly kind of terrifying image of a countless fleet of human-driven chariots literally surfing the currents of the wind itself. So the crucial point here is their movement, this sweeping, specific directional movement. The text tells us they gather from the east and from the west, and they all converge to the south. This isn't random wandering around. It is a highly coordinated global mobilization. The east and the west represent the absolute furthest edges of the known earthly horizon. These forces are sweeping across the entirety of the map, pinching inward and driving straight down toward the south. It really creates this mental image of inescapable tightening pressure. Section 2. A world-shaking commotion. The reason heaven looked down. As visually overwhelming as a global sky fleet of wagons might be, the visual alone actually isn't what catches heaven's attention. We have to look at the immense auditory and physical impact of this event. This brilliantly illustrates the totally disproportionate scale being described. On one side, we have our earthly catalyst, simple men riding wagons on the wind. But on the cosmic side, the effect is just staggering. The pillars of the earth were moved from their place. In ancient cosmology, the earth was conceptualized as being held up by massive, completely immovable foundational pillars. For men on wagons to generate enough kinetic force to physically dislodge the architectural foundations of the world, it defies all logic and physics. But that is exactly the point. The text is forcing us to realize that this isn't just an army moving, it's the very fabric of reality buckling under the weight of this event. And here is the direct answer to our core question of why the Holy Ones noticed. The text explicitly says, "And the noise of their wagons was heard. And as this commotion took place, the Holy Ones from heaven noticed it." Boom. It was the noise. It was the absolute earth-shattering commotion. It wasn't the sight of the wagons that made the Holy Ones look down. It was the deafening roar of them. The acoustic shockwave of this gathering was so unimaginably loud that it pierced the boundary between the physical earth and the spiritual heavens. Let's follow this timeline to really grasp the astonishing cosmic speed of this sound. The source text tells us that this phenomenal noise was heard from the ends of the earth to the ends of the heavens in one day. Just think about the sheer scale of that metric for a second. In a single 24-hour cycle, a sound originating from men on wagons travels across the entire earthly plane, carries enough physical force to shake the Earth's pillars, and then blasts upward, echoing through the infinite expanse until it reaches the very ends of heaven. It is a beautifully terrifying way to measure distance and power. It's basically the ultimate sonic boom. Section 3. The final submission. The ultimate resolution. Right after this deafening, reality-bending commotion, the text suddenly drops into a hushed, reverent tone. The chaos peaks, the pillars shake, heaven looks down, and then, a sudden shift. The ultimate outcome of this terrifying sensory display of power is universal submission. They will all fall down and bend the knee before the Lord of the Spirits. Who is all? Well, in the context of the passage, it's everyone involved. The men on the wagons, the beings on earth who felt the pillars shake, and honestly, probably even the holy ones who are watching from heaven. The immense mechanical chaos of those wind-riding wagons ultimately serves just one purpose: to bring everything in creation to a dead halt, forcing a posture of absolute humility and awe before divine authority. The noise totally gives way to a kneeling silence. The passage concludes abruptly right there, with the text simply stating, "And this is the end of the second parable." It leaves us to just marvel at how ancient writers used extreme sensory scale to convey the magnitude of apocalyptic events. They didn't just tell you something was important, they made you feel the wind, hear the deafening roar that pierced the heavens, and feel the foundations of the earth giving way beneath your feet, all culminating in a quiet bow. It's an absolute masterclass in pacing and sensory storytelling, packed into just a few sentences. It completely leaves you wondering, doesn't it? If this incredibly vivid, earth-shattering event was just the second parable, how do other ancient texts use sound, scale, and physical disruption to signal the end of an era? And what other profound mysteries do these parables still hold, waiting for us to decode their incredible imagery? I hope this explainer helped you visualize this cosmic event and understand exactly why the heavens had absolutely no choice but to take notice. Thanks for diving into this with me today, and keep questioning the incredible texts of the past.